All right, I'm gonna start on the PC that we're giving away. This is the first build I've done on camera. I think I've got everything here. Got my toolbox lined up over there. Got my assistant right here, ready to be paid off. It's a good boy. He's not gonna be much help for this other than just getting his hair all in whatever I'm working on probably. But it's nice to have somebody here for moral support. Seeing as how this is the first build I've done on camera, this is going to be a little nerve-wracking for me, but I think I've got everything lined out. I've got the power supply. I just grabbed this power cord. I'll get one that actually matches before I give it away. I've got a whole bag of them, which is a good score. I got them for like $10. I got a bag of like 12 power supply cords, which come in handy because I've ran into several power supplies that don't, come with the cord, or like worked on people's that have somehow lost their power cord. I've got gloves. This is a great hack right here for one, especially if you're selling a computer or you don't want to get your fingerprints all over it. You have oils on your fingers. You definitely don't want to get that on your CPU or any of the components. The main point is your static electricity can fry components. That's why people wear those little bracelets and hook themselves to a power supply or ground themselves somehow. This is a much more clever way, in my opinion. These are nitrile gloves. They're non-conductive, and you're not leaving fingerprints all over everything, and you don't have to wear that stupid little bracelet. That's my go-to hack on that. I've got my portable monitor, keyboard, and mouse for whenever I do get it hooked up. This is not what we're going to give him. I've actually already got a HyperX mouse lined up that I've already bought, and I got a pretty cool mouse pad coming from Amazon that's like RGB around the outside and doubles as a wireless phone charger. I've got a 750 watt power supply that's Ultra is the name brand. I scored in a bundle deal. I did decide I'm probably going to go with this 1060 as long as it works fine. I've got the Ryzen 5 2600, and I'm going to use the Wraith Stealth Cooler because I've got like 8 of them lying around I really need to use. We're going with two 8 gigabyte kits of or sticks of RAM, 2400 mega transfers. One of those 2 terabyte 990 Pro M.2s that I scored a awesome deal on. I got it for like $80. They usually go for 200, so that's just kind of paying forward that love because I got 4 more of them. B450M AMD motherboard, Windows 11 ready. Like I said, we want to put him on Windows 11 because Windows 10 is not going to be supported past 2025. And I'm still looking for, hopefully, I've footed the bill for all of the components, but I'm trying to get people to help donate and, just the peripherals at least. I already got somebody to buy the mouse and the mouse pad. I just need somebody to get a keyboard, a headset, and a monitor. If not, then we will be going with this monitor. It's an entry-level PC. We're giving it away. I don't want him to have junk. I really wanted all his peripherals to match. That's why I went with HyperX. It's affordable, but still has RGB, still a good name brand. That's really a pain in the butt when you have like 3 or 4 different brands on any of your peripherals or anything that you have to use 3 or 4 different softwares to manage the RGB and stuff. So it's really ideal to have all the same peripherals, same name brand. I've got my PC toolbox over there with the Hyper Tough electronics kit and the Wow Stick. Man, I love this thing. But I hate the bits that it came with, the way they do it. So I use this for the bits because they're in a nice little organized swivel system. Anyway, I've done enough yapping. Oh, and of course, the case. I've done enough yapping. I'm going to try to get this on video, except I've never built on video. Also never used one of these little Wraith prism coolers, so just bear with me. This might be a long video, but I'm just going to go about it as quickly as I can without messing anything up. I also got this comes with the WOW stick. It's a magnetic mat for any screws so you don't lose those guys. And we're throwing in a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi adapter, so it'll be set with that just in case you can't plug in through a landline. Let's see here. For starters, let's move some of this stuff out of the way we don't need at the moment. I'm trying to make a nice clear work area. Only downfall of these gloves is it's almost impossible to pull one glove out without pulling out a whole bundle of them. Probably the only thing I think I forgot so far is probably should have grabbed a knife. IO shield. Like, who has a disk drive anymore? It's funny they still throw these in. Nice to see a paper manual though. Most of them have online manuals now. But we're going to be using the box for our build surface. And guys, don't use this as a like direct how-to video. I mean, I'm going to try to be as thorough as I can while, you know, not being too long, making it a 3-hour video. But there's plenty of great, you know, I'd love to do a how-to video, but there's just so many people out there that have such better content and better setup, production value to do a better how-to video. Linus Tech Tips has a pretty thorough one. But I'll still throw some tips in along the way of how I do things, which is pretty standard, how most people do stuff. Got the back plate, so that's a plus. I know we need that. Know how well you guys can actually see everything. But and I've already lost the motherboard case I just sat down. Let me see how well you guys can see over here. So for starters, we're gonna have to take these guys off and save them just in case he ever wants to change the bracket or his cooler, since we are just putting a standard stock cooler on. Man, plastic's not great for breaking stuff loose. Grab the proper size tip here. Probably should have started out doing that. And they really put those on there stock pretty tight, but we're going to take both of these brackets off. Again, this little mat, these things are really handy to have. I actually have a little metal bowl that does the same thing, where you don't lose your screws. It's a very good investment. The little bowl that I normally use, I like it because it does have the, you know, surrounding walls where stuff doesn't slip out. It's actually already in use on that laptop I'm working on. So it's actually not, you know, if you are like me and you tinker on a couple different projects at a time, it's not a bad investment to have 2 or 3 of them. They're cheap. You can get them at Harbor Freight or any hardware store for $2 to $5 at most. Also got a pretty good stack of AMD CPUs. I know I got one of them that had some bent pins that I actually bent back with that new magnifying glass lamp I got, which I'm still loving, by the way. Best $30 ever spent. Not to say that about half the stuff I buy, but really good investment. Especially if you're like me and your eyes aren't getting any younger. But yeah, hopefully I don't have any no, I actually still have the sticker with that and everything. That's rare. I have a ton of used CPUs I've bought, and I never actually get the sticker with it. So this is not the one I'm thinking of. What I'm thinking of is a 2600X. I know it had a couple of bent pins. I got thrown in on a bundle deal. I really didn't even want it. The guy just threw it in. I wanted it, but I didn't want to pay any money for it, basically. But yeah, it had a couple bent pins I had to bend back with a toothpick and a razor blade. Good look at these pins. They look like they're all in good working order. Again, not exactly a how-to video, but I will try to throw some tips in there as I go, how I do things. I'm gonna pull this guy back, this little lever, and match up the triangle on the corner, little gold triangle. There should also be a triangle on the motherboard, which we can see right here. It's very faint on the motherboard because it's black and it wants to kind of blend in. But good tip on Ryzen AM4 anyway, it's always like upright. Say your motherboard is going to be like this in the case. Well, the Ryzen logo is always upright fashion, so that helps anything. And I just let the back plate fall out of there. Line that back up and just delicately drop it in. You don't want to force it in there. You want it to kind of fall in place on its own, which it's not wanting to do right now. Come on, baby, work with me. Yeah, I don't know why that's not wanting to. It should just drop in with no issues, but it might have something blocking it. Hopefully I don't have a bent pin on there. Again, never do builds on camera, so I get a little nervous. Never have issues with this, probably just because I am doing this on camera. It's very weird. That's not going to drop in. Huh. Go check these pins out underneath my magnifying lamp real quick. Make sure I'm not a dead pin. No bent pins underneath the magnifying lamp, so that's really strange. It's really strange because that's definitely the triangle right there. Alright, that was not good. Apparently my eyes are getting worse than I thought. And this is a used CPU cooler, still kind of boogered up, so I'm going to clean that off as well. Better yet, I think I have a new one, so you guys don't have to wait while I clean that up. This one's already got fresh thermal paste on it. And see, this is where your CPU fan is going to go. So to make this upright, nice little hack to try to line this up where I don't have a kind of line it up like that. That way you won't have all that extra cable. And we're nice and in there. All right. So we're going to start at the top right corner here. And just kind of give it a few turns and then go the opposite of it. Give it a few turns. Plug that guy in so it's kind of out of my way. When you're plugging stuff in, just always make sure you're matching up a 3-pin with a 3-pin and a 4-pin with a 4-pin, or bad things can happen. You don't have to tighten these down crazy tight, just as long as they're in there. You make contact on all 4 corners where you have even pressure on that CPU. Which looks like I've got a lot more headroom on this one right here, so we're going to give it a few more. Alright, see how I went through there underneath that cooler. You don't have that all that excess cord hanging out. Which next part we're gonna add our RAM. Turn this where y'all can probably see it a little bit better. Push these little, actually this motherboard, just the back ones clip down. Not all motherboards are the same. Some of them they push down on both sides. Some of them only one side will push down. You see how those, you hear that audible click and they push back. Probably should have opened our RAM ahead of time. It's not going to be dead center. You see that little tab there? Just kind of line it up with this, which you can see is off. So we're going to go this way. And then just push down until you hear a click. Don't, make sure you're lined up on that notch before you put crazy pressure on it, because it doesn't take a lot. You'll hear an audible click. Like so, and then that little push tab will push back up on its own. Second stick of RAM going in. Again, nice rewarding click noise. And then your M.2 on this one is right here, which it doesn't have any kind of heat sink, which works out great because the M.2 we've picked comes with a heat sink already installed, which these get fast enough where they actually do need that heat sink. You know, some of the slower ones, it's not a big deal, but on this guy right here, it's definitely necessary because they do get pretty warm. This one's actually a 7,450 megabytes a second read and write speed. And of course, it didn't come with an M.2 screw. That kind of sucks. But that's going to go in kind of at an angle. And it just pushes down. I'll have to go score an M.2 screw real quick. Cutesy little M.2 cooler. Screwdriver. That is magnetic. I'd highly recommend making sure you have a magnetic screwdriver for this because they can be pretty annoying. And just screw her down. No problemo. And you've got a motherboard ready to rock and roll. All we lack now is our graphics card and getting her in the case. Which that's going to be all for this video. I'll probably do a part 2, but sorry that took so long. Peace.